I'd like to talk with you about sitting in presence. And this is a difficult topic to talk about because sitting in presence is an experience. It's not an object. But it's an experience that I think is immensely important in these times. There's two movements in life. One of them is an outer movement, and the other is an inner movement. It's just like our breath, our exhalation and our inhalation. But our culture that we live in now is very much focused on this outer movement. It's all about doing things, having things. It's a time of great complexity and pressure. And we're feeling the stress of this. We could say that it pulls us out of balance. And this is the bias of our culture, to be focused out there in that, with our attention out there into that physical world. But to live a life that has some peace and equanimity, a balance has to be achieved. So it's important to make that inward turn. And you all know what that is in different ways. You know the importance of rest. You know the importance, or you've been told the importance of giving yourself time to smell the roses, to walk in nature, to be more mindful. That's because these are the kinds of things that slow us down and help us to balance out that outer movement. There are many levels of presence. The easiestly accessed level is the sensory level, and that's just being aware of where you are right now, and not fused with the mind in thinking about something from the past or ruminating about some problem or planning for the future, so that you aren't smelling the roses, or you aren't, as the spiritual teacher of the 60s, Ram Dass said, you aren't being here now. So at the first level of presence, you're being here now. You're aware of where you are at a sensory level. Witnessing is a slightly deeper level of consciousness than your normal consciousness. It's your awareness. It's that part of you that is aware of everything that's occurring right now, whether it's in your emotional body, your thoughts, or even your physical experience. It's rather neutral, and it's not judging or evaluating what's occurring. It's just merely aware. Sitting in presence, or abiding in the heart, is a deeper level of consciousness or engagement. It's a turning into and feeling into this, your own heart space, not your physical heart, but this non-physical space that's at the very center of your being. And you might even feel into that right now. There's a place in your heart where you might feel a sense of quiet spaciousness. You might experience a sense of warmth or even radiance. These are subtle sensations. But as you sit there, there's a sense of sort of sinking deeper into yourself, into your own interiority. It's as if You're allowing this outer self to merge into your higher sacred self. This is your home ground. And you might even begin to experience, just as I'm talking about this, a kind of spaciousness that's there as you sit in your home ground of your heart. It's a kind of a container that holds this experience. It's a felt experience. Perhaps it's different for each of us. But there's likely to be a sense of silence here. Of spacious silence. Because this is closer to our ground of being. You might say, why is this important to sit in my heart or to give myself the time to turn my attention into that silent spaciousness that exists there? During a time I was studying in India, I was told a story that I think describes this process. It was a story of the dyeing of cloth with indigo dye. So they would take a piece of fabric and dip it into a vat of indigo dye and then hang it up on a line in the hot Indian sun. The fabric would dry, but it would only be able to keep a bit of that indigo dye. So it would be a pale blue that was left. So the dyers would take that fabric again, put it back into the vat of indigo, hang it up again, and it would be a little bit more blue. They would keep doing this until the fabric was able to maintain that deep indigo color even in the sun. And this is what it's like when we abide in our own inner spaciousness. The more often that we do it, it's like dipping into that vat of the ground of our being. And eventually, there's a point where we live in that peace. And we live with that equanimity even when we go out into our busy lives and encounter the demands and problems there. It's not to say that we won't be stressed. It's not to say that there won't be times of suffering, but more and more, the more we make that sacred turn into our hearts and into sitting in that silence, the more that we'll experience a deeper peace that occurs simultaneously with everything else that's happening in our life.